Let me show you something that makes absolutely no sense. We're looking at one of the biggest, richest, most futuristic cities on the planet, Shanghai. It's a powerhouse of finance, technology, and culture, and it's built on mud. Seriously, the entire city sits on a soft, waterlogged plain that's essentially a giant flat delta, built by river silt. There are no mountains for defense, no deep natural harbor protected by cliffs, and for most of its history, it was a sleepy fishing town. So how did this swampy river junction become a global megacity of 25 million people? This is your host, Isaac, and welcome to Awesome Third Places. The truth is, Shanghai's geography was shaped by the simple, unstoppable physics of water meeting the sea. To understand Shanghai, you have to look at the rivers. And here's what surprised me the most. The most important river of Shanghai isn't even the mighty Yangtze River, which finishes its 4,000-mile journey just north of the city, dumping immense amounts of silt into the East China Sea and building the land itself. But Shanghai's immediate heartbeat is its smaller tributary, the Huangpu River. This is the city's main waterway, its historical lifeline slicing the urban core into two. The original Shanghainese settlement grew on a bend in this river. Its strategic importance lies in that it is deep enough for ships, wide enough for navigation, and calm enough to build along. But the real magic is what silt from the Yangtze created, an incredibly flat, low-lying plain that has been constantly expanding outward for centuries. In fact, over 60% of modern Shanghai is built on land that was underwater or marshland just 1,000 years ago. The city has literally pushed the East China Sea back through relentless reclamation, from the wetlands of Pudong to the new islands of Hangzhou Bay. The city's physical footprint is a story of humans wrestling land from the water. This soft, young geological foundation is why Shanghai doesn't have ancient stone ruins. It has a skyline that seems to change every year because the very ground it's built on is new and constantly being remade. At the same time, this geography comes with serious risks. Flooding has always been a threat. Typhoons push seawaters up the rivers, and heavy rain has nowhere to drain quickly. That's why modern Shanghai relies on levees, pumping stations, and flood walls. Geography forced the city to become an engineering powerhouse early on, and that mindset still defines it today. But exactly how this flat geography shaped the city's layout? You see, Shanghai didn't grow in rings like many old capitals. It instead stretched outward along the waterways and transport corridors, following the easiest paths across the delta. The historic core developed west of the Huangpu River. In those old districts, streets are tighter, blocks are smaller, and the urban fabric feels dense and layered. This was the original city, built when movement depended on walking, boats, and short-distance trade. Then something dramatic happened. The city crossed the river. East of the Huangpu was once farmland and marshland, considered too soft and risky for dense development. But geography didn't change. Technology did. The rise of modern engineering made it possible to build on this land, and that's how Pudong was born. You see, Pudong feels completely different because it was designed all at once, on open land. Roads are wide, blocks are large, buildings are taller and spaced farther apart. The skyline of Lujiazui rises directly from the riverbank, turning the water itself into the city's main visual axis. This east-west contrast exists because the river divided old Shanghai from new Shanghai, shaping two urban personalities in the same metro area. And one more thing that surprised me is how far the city keeps expanding without really feeling like it ends. Because the land is so flat, suburbs don't fade out gradually. They remain dense for dozens of kilometers. Districts like Songjiang, Jiading, and Qingpu are fully urban, with their own centers, industries, and transit hubs. They are not just satellite cities, they are extensions of the urban area itself. And so, transportation followed geography too. Metro lines stretch long and straight because there are few physical obstacles. Highways radiate outward like spokes. The high-speed rail connects Shanghai to nearby cities in minutes rather than hours. The delta allows for speed and scale in a way mountainous regions simply can't match. The result of all of this is a city that feels massive, but surprisingly navigable. Geography made expansion easy, but it also demanded careful coordination. Without elevation to separate zones gradually, everything had to be planned intentionally. That's why Shanghai feels organized compared to many megacities of similar size. Flat land allowed order. So, in a city this massive, fast-paced, and vertically built, where do people go to just hang out and relax? The third spaces in Shanghai are a brilliant lesson in using geography to create community. And my favorite thing is how they almost revolve around the same water that shaped the city's birth. First off, the most iconic walking area in China has to be the Bund, or White Tan in Chinese. It's not a park or a square, it's a wide open-air promenade right on the western bank of the Huangpu River. Every evening, it's packed with families, tourists, and couples. They're there to see the view, feel the breeze, and to witness the spectacular light show. Across the river in Pudong is a third space that only exists because of that specific geographical line between the old city and the new. One other third place that blew my mind is Xintiandi. They took a block of old traditional shukumen, which are stone gate houses, saved the historic facades, and filled the interiors with cafes, bars, and shops. The narrow alleys between them are for pedestrians only. And for a completely different, sprawling green space, there's Century Park in Pudong as well. This huge, manicured park is a direct result of having the space to build it on newly reclaimed land. This is where families have picnics, fly kites, and people run marathons. A massive block of public space that earlier, denser parts of the city could have never fit. But my favorite modern example has to be the elevated walkways of Lujiazui. You've got these incredible skyscrapers, but the street level once was a maze of traffic. The solution? Built a network of spacious air pedestrian sky bridges, connecting the towers, plazas, and riverfront. Walking up there, you're in a dedicated human zone. This is a futuristic third place born directly from the need to manage intense vertical density. And you think that's clever? Just wait until you see how modern Shanghainese socialize vertically. The city's countless mega malls, like the IFC Mall or Taikoo are not just for shopping. On the scorching hot or rainy days, which are very common in Shanghai, they become the default climate-controlled main street. People meet for coffee, kids play in indoor playgrounds, and seniors power walk in the air-conditioned atriums. Even university campuses play a role. Fudan University and Tongji University function as semi-public spaces, with wide paths, trees, and benches that attract students and neighbors alike. In a dense metro area, these campuses act as green islands shaped by careful land use. And that's what makes Shanghai so fascinating to explore from above. The map doesn't just show streets and buildings. It shows how geography quietly shaped one of the most complex urban areas in the modern world. Flat land allowed growth, water enabled trade, impending risk demanded engineering, density forced better public spaces. Every challenge became a design choice. This has been Awesome Third Places, the channel where we explore the world's most influential cities by diving into their unique geography, intricate urban layout, and all of the cool third places that a city has to offer. If you want to help me keep the show running, you can do it through a YouTube membership or Patreon. Many thanks for supporting this project. Cheers, guys!